Hi, this is Gab Goldenberg of conversionrateoptimization.co, and this is how I doubled a manufacturer's conversion rate. So this is a presentation where we'll look at a A/B test for a manufacturer's contact page, and that's very relevant to anybody in e-commerce because the contact page for a manufacturer is essentially their checkout. So if you see how we improved their contact page, you can see how to improve your own checkout, and as a result, you'll reduce cart abandonment, increase your profit margins. Now, what you'll learn in this video covers three things. First of all, we'll look at the psychology behind this. Why do people behave the way they behave? And how can we use that to increase our sales? And we'll see the particular tactics we used, the particular changes we made to increase the conversion rate. And then I'll leave you with some specific guidance on how you can apply these lessons to your checkout today. You can already start doubling your conversion rate today using these lessons. A bit about me just before we begin. So I've got about 10 years in digital marketing, covering especially conversion rate optimization and search engine optimization. I've worked on large and small companies, some of those you may have heard of, including Expedia, Ice.com, TripAdvisor, ViaRail, TalkMobile, Skechers, many more. I've spoken widely at Magento Live, at SMX West, at SMX Advanced, PubCon, Affiliate Summit, at the Lean Startup Group, many other places, University of Jerusalem, Hebrew University, McGill University, private companies. I wrote the first book on advanced SEO, and that included about 8 or 9 tactics just on increasing conversion rate with organic search traffic. And on a personal level, I'm a very happy father. I have a little 2-year-old girl, and I'm also a Talmud student. The Talmud is, of course, the Jewish oral law. It's a very analytical discipline. It helps you develop your critical thinking, amongst other things. Now let's talk about the psychology. So we're going to look at this through the lens of a change framework known as the rider, the elephant, and the path. And this was developed by these brothers called Chip and Dan Heath in a book called Switch, How to Make Change When Change is Difficult. And they essentially describe 3 different aspects to change. So there's the rider, that's your logical motivation, your willpower, and that can get you a good distance, but it's limited, right? We can run out of willpower. You have the elephant, which is your emotional motivation, and that's very, very strong, but without the initial kick, or without the rider, it doesn't necessarily perform as well. And you have the path, which is the environmental conditions through which the rider and elephant navigate. Now, the path is very important, as you can see, for example, with the situation of a person who's on a diet. And every day they're walking by this bakery whose delicious odors waft through their nostrils, and they just can't resist walking in every day and getting some buttery croissants or yummy muffins. Now, obviously, that's not going to help them. What they need to do is they need to change the path they take to get to work every day. They need to walk down a different street. The elephant, I wanted to mention this. I just skipped it. But an example is I, for a long time, didn't want to floss my teeth because I found it to be a hassle until the day my dentist said to me, "Hey, Gab, you know that garbage you've got in the rubbish bin, that really smells terrible, doesn't it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, if you don't floss, that's between your teeth." And that just shocked me so badly. I was like, okay, from here on, I've got to floss regularly. I can't have that. So let's see how these sort of ideas apply with improving our checkout. Now let's look at what the manufacturer's contact page looked like before we changed anything. So this was the page, okay? We just removed the logo and we've anonymized some of the data here, so the contact information visible is not actually their contact information. But besides for that, the layout, the contact information is laid out the exact same way, all of that. This is what the page looked like before. There are a few problems. The first problem is that there were too many distractions on this page. Okay? There are too many ways to leave the page for your eyes to focus on something besides the main goal of the page. There's a banner offering downloadable resources in the upper right. There's navigation and a search bar immediately below that. There are products that you can navigate away to in the left-hand sidebar. Essentially, the form in the bottom right was just being completely neglected. So the visual weight in this page was a big problem. It just encouraged people to click away rather than actually perform what they had come to this page to perform, which was send an email. The second problem was a greedy form. A greedy form is essentially a form that asks for too much information, and the psychological aspect is that it makes the path seem long and tiresome, and it just turns off the elephant, right? The path and the elephant obviously have an interaction. So over here they're asking for the company name. Didn't need that, they could have gotten that later. They're asking to retype the email. Really wasn't necessary. The telephone, the primary industry, there was all this information that gave people the impression, this is going to take me forever, forget it, I'd rather do something else. There were other problems as well. The button said submit. Now, the button is meant to correspond to the page title, or at least the form title, right? If they come to contact you, the button should say, contact us, or send message to so-and-so, right? Something that reflects the idea of the page. Another question that was left unanswered, or another problem I should say with the page, is that they weren't told when they could expect an answer from the manufacturer. So here's what we did about it. The new page, except for having a logo just above this visible section, had nothing else besides what you see here. There was no banner, and there was no navigation. So we eliminated the distractions. We got rid of the distractions. You can see that we switched the form around from being on the right-hand side to being on the left-hand side. And what this does is that it puts it earlier in the visual path, because when reading in English, we read from left to right. We changed the button, as you can see, send my message to, and we gave a little explanation as to when people could expect a response. So to summarize, we got rid of the navigation, we moved the form to the left from being on the right-hand side, we removed the extra fields, we changed the button text, and we gave them an idea on how long it would take until they got a response. 1 business day. Essentially, we're focusing on the path. Okay? So, no distractions for the elephant to turn right or left. It's just straight all the way through. It's a short path. You just have a few fields now. Just name, email, message. That's it. The button tells you exactly what your destination is. It's that pagoda. It's send a message to this manufacturer. The results, as you can see, were quite impressive. We doubled their conversion rate. And in fact, we let the test run even longer than shown here. And you can see that with this screenshot from Google Analytics I'll show you next. We reached 99% statistical certainty, and we doubled their conversion rate. Now, if you want similar results, what can you do? You can take these lessons and you can apply them to your own checkout. So here's my challenge to you. Take these ideas and apply them today by creating a plan to improve your checkout, a plan for what you're going to A/B test, not just make changes, but A/B test so that you can know statistically that you've made an improvement and not actually hurt things, which is often the case with redesigns and so on, for example, where changes are just implemented wholesale. So you can take the ideas from today. There are further ideas you can get from the mobile checkout worksheet that I sent you. As a reminder, you just open up your website on your phone. You've got this checkout worksheet printed out. And then you just go through the checkout while asking yourself these questions, and you'll see things from the visitor's perspective, from the user's perspective. You can also use a tool I've come up with called checkoutgrader.com. And for Magento websites, that will go to your product detail page, which you enter on in the form, and then it'll try to add that product to cart and check out. And that will give you an automatic grading and specific tips as to what to improve. You can also get a personal review by yours truly. We'll go into more depth, and usually this would be $150, but I'll do it for $50 specifically for qualifying companies that I'm interested in working with, right? Especially if we can do work beyond the personal review, obviously. So if you want that, you can apply below. Thank you very much, and I would really love to hear if you take these ideas and you apply them, you go and split test, you go A/B test your checkout, you make an improvement. Likewise, if you think that colleagues or developers in your organization could benefit, other people involved, the director of marketing, of e-commerce, etc., please share this with them. Thank you very much.